And here we go, game number 3 of this exciting matchup. It's Highview, it's Dontent, Artie spawning in the southwestern side as the deli, playing against Cat in the northeast as the French. So a little classic matchup, and this is going to be a feudal age based matchup. We saw Don play this, I think we saw a series of this earlier with the deli, where just, you know, walling up these sacred sites is a huge advantage in the long term. And will Don be able to just pop out a couple spearmen, get some map control before French is really able to? Let's see, only time will end up telling, but French is sure to pop out a couple Royal Knights, try to get some aggro down, trying to get some pressure down. And Don going ahead, getting all those techs in. It's the deli. They want all efficient production, and then definitely sanctity once the feudal age starts. So single scout opening by either of these players, which really shocks me, by the French side. With a single scout opening, it just means you want to get your second or your school of cavalry down a little bit faster, or potentially you could go for a little bit of a different build depending, but nope, it looks like going for that quicker school of cavalry build, and needs to come back, drop some of these sheep off, and keep searching around the map. Don also went for that single scout opening, being the deli, but starts on those berries and doesn't really need those sheep as much. Deli's super popular because they, in high elo play, people are really strong at utilizing this efficient production tech, not having to utilize really any gold other than scholar production, because all the research techs come in free, so they just basically full focus into military and get to be so aggressive with it and take a lot of map control. And this is a really like map control based game, I would say, especially in the elo or the meta right now. Cat going over to the wood. It's 8:04 start, going over to the wood line. Hasn't yet dropped a lumber camp. Oh, School of Cavalry wants a different little location. And Don yet to get enough resources for his Dome of the Faith, but I'm sure we'll be dropping that here in the next 30 seconds or so. Yeah. And Cat's going with the wheelbarrow during the age up because he will be able to afford it here with the next drop off of these vills, and already has enough wood to grab it as well. So good little build by Cat. We're going to jump forward, get back to live. We're only about a minute behind. Scout still circling around, trying to get vision of Don's base. 3 vills, 4 vills now on top of that Dome of the Faith. School of Cavalry about to finish on up. Cat doesn't quite have the necessary resources to immediately queue up a knight, as he is lacking some food. So not quite the, oh, there it is. Now he has it. Had a few too many vills queued up, I believe. So first knight is in production. Dome of the Faith is about halfway up, but the barracks is already on its way. So spears will start popping out in just a little bit of time. And the barracks finishes. First spearman is in production, and I'm sure once this Dome of the Faith finishes on up, where's the scholar? I'm sure the scholar will, oh, it's already inside the barracks. Scholar immediately jumps inside the barracks to get those spearmen out a little bit faster, and also will be able to get the harden upgrade a little bit faster. So we'll come in quite quickly, especially before this knight finds any damage. Has 1 spearman stationed on the berries, has 1 spearman stationed onto the wood line, has 1 more coming out, and then the upgrade coming through. So still kind of following around where this knight's going to be. Immediately pulls over another spear to the berry line. Hardened upgrade, 14 seconds away. Will it come through in time? Still, it might come through right in between this fight that Cat might choose to take. But nope, spearmen are here. Nice, huge brace here. Hardened upgrade 2 seconds away. Knight comes in, doesn't get a charge off, circles back around, still no damage coming down on villagers. So Cat, while he doesn't, and Don doesn't even micro any vills back, gets a little bit of extra damage on the Knight and forces the Knight back and to run away. So good job by those couple bits of Spearmen, and the Blacksmith actually being dropped before the stables, which is surprising for me. Don's starting to build up a little bit of that food, extra food eco, and Cat already going over towards that second TC play. Actually produced a Horseman rather than a Knight, saving on the gold because he pulled off the gold to go for 2 TCs a little faster, and second TC going to be dropped on the backside deer. Knight still circling around, going for that gold mine. Could potentially get a charge off onto the gold villagers. We'll see in just a second. But Spearmen are stationed quite close. Immediate reaction from the Spearmen. And Textiles is already through for Don Artie as well. As the deli, it's a free upgrade. It just takes a little bit of time, so you might as well just go ahead, snag that on up. Stables being dropped finally. And good old Blacksmith already has Eco Techs coming through. Not really sure. Next Horseman, or that's Horseman still kind of circling around for Cat. Don Artie is getting pretty close to having Sanctity come on through, and Cat has given up a lot of the map control because going for that second TC means no archers, no knights, and Don can start massing up spearmen, can start massing up horsemen, and those spears are free and clear to start building walls around the sacred sites and long-term gold generation that is completely free once those scholars take them on over. And look at that wall outline already being dropped around that sacred site. 3 spearmen coming on up, horsemen and spears protecting up the next set of resources for the deli, and a couple spears moving out to the western sacred site. I'm sure walls are about to be dropped there as well. Scout spots out these spears building up the walls. Double archery range drop, blacksmith drop as well. Cat, now that he has his 2 TCs, is ready to transition more into this military production, but is it going to be too late, as Don has already started taking this map control, is about to capture the sacred sites as the first scholar steps on the middle one, and the scholar is going over to the western one, but a couple of those spears got a little distracted. Sacred site captured up in the middle, sacred site secured on up in the west, and Don's actually bringing a Vill because he couldn't get some easy, nice, efficient walls, I think, due to these resources around the sacred site. So just opts for an outpost on the western one. Not sure how effective that will be because Cat can just send a few knights on over, tank that up, and deny it on down. But we will see, because Don could have time to react with some horsemen and potentially, not let that go down. Scout pulled on out, coming to try to deny the sacred site, and not a knight but a scout here won't do enough, and Scholar pulling back into the middle, and Don has a huge military mass compared to just 5 archers and a knight in the main military mass, other than the raiding party of 2 knights about to come around to Don's base. I mean, this is the huge difference. Frenh needs to come online. He needs to continue to stall on up and wait until he has a significant military mass, has enough to, continue to raid, maybe to do damage, and have enough to take down some of these Delhi scholars. But with double sacred sites coming in, this is just so much gold that is able to be utilized, whether it's extra scholars coming out of the mosque, whether it's, dropping a market and trading off these resources, just continual gold coming in nonstop, and Delhi doesn't have anything to spend it on other than scholars right now, which you can already see 5 with this main military mass, and the main military mass much bigger than Cat's, with healing just so OP right now. Don's pushing forward, about to start denying that gold, and that gold is so precious. Knights take a charge onto the horsemen, pretty decent charge. None of the knights have gone down, but villagers starting to get focused a little bit, denied off of the gold. Scholars are able to tank up so much of this town center fire, as you'll see now, and still win this fight. So Don, he's cool with this right now, I think. And look at all of these units going down. Yes, one of the scholars just finally fell. Horseman splits going for some additional villagers. Spears able to get another knight down. And scholars, look at them. They're just so tanky. 14 villagers inside the town center, and Don just says, I'm fine with it. I'm going to take down all of the villagers outside the town center. They have no place to hide. I killed all of your military mass. Yes, he might be throwing away his military, but he has double sacred sites behind this. He is getting huge trades right now and is continuing to mass up more military. 32 idle vills for Cat right now, only 9 military, and just everything that pops out immediately gets taken down. Archers still, yes, focused down by the spearmen, but then a horseman pops out, immediately dies. Another horseman runs into some spearmen. This is not the fights that Cat wants to be taking. Only at 52 vills after all of this. He still has a 15 vill count lead. And Don's actually starting to throw away a lot of his army. He needs to pull back and get this Eastern Sacred Site or go up to Castle Age, and that's what he is doing. Going up to Castle Age in just a little bit of time. House of Learning. So if we thought that spearmen and horsemen were bad, imagine when these become upgraded spearmen, horsemen, lancers, scholars with herbal medicine healing, and he starts grabbing these relics to give himself even more gold generation. It's 39 and 15 versus 55 and 5. Only 5 military units for Cat, and Don's about to be the age ahead in just no time at all. Scholar moving out for the relic. Surprised that Don doesn't split this scholar off for the relic, but that is exactly what he has done with the western side. Not quite there yet. And oh, actually I think he did do that exact thing. Horsemen, spearmen moving forward to the gold again, but villagers pull back off. Another 12 villagers going on idle. Relic grabbed. Relic already grabbed. Relic already grabbed. So triple relics already secured. Don going for the 4th relic, and I'm sure we'll go for the 5th. So a quick 4 relic security. Don needs to go and grab some extra food sources. Scout over here will spot a little bit of villager maybe vulnerability. There is an outpost a little bit close that will have a sprinkled emplacement. So it's pretty solid there. So Don looking really solid in this 3rd game. Might not last past 20 minutes like we've seen some of his other games go against Cat. And as the deli, you really do want to end these early. 4th relic picked on up, running back. Another mosque is already being dropped, and 2 relics have already been dropped into the mosque, and probably, oh, actually the scholars jump on in to increase some of this research timing. As I'm sure that's exactly what it was, Shu. Those 3 knights are just moving over exactly where I was talking about, some of those vulnerable villagers onto the deer. The problem is, there's only 3 royal knights. One of them's quite low health. There's a sprinkled emplacement. There's some horsemen, and there's another outpost. So these knights won't be too successful, especially when one immediately gets taken down. Lancers are here as well for protection. This is going to be knights that are just traded for basically nothing except 1 villager. Farms being dropped for the French, never a position you want to be in where you have lost map control. And Delhi, You're typically, you know, one of the two civs where you're taking all this pocket eco, and when you're able to take all this pocket eco with no pressure against the French, you are just sitting nice and happy. You have no care in the world, and 5 relics can be secured, but 4 right now. So much gold production coming in for Don Artie, and just gets to spend it all onto units and all onto scholars. He's back up, Cat's back up at 22 military, but Don, he's up at 31, and his are armored units as he has Lancers and Men-at-Arms into this mix, and should just bring up Scholars again. Yes, he did, good guy. Scout spotting out the main armory for Don Artie, but gets shattered and crushed by the all-cavalry front line of Don Artie. Actually, it's not all-cavalry front line. It's just a huge infantry overall, just melee front line. No ranged units at all. Scholars trying to come up, but not even sure if the Scholars need to be there for this fight, as Don Artie is massive, and he's been Castle Age for so long. Some of these techs are actually getting pretty close to finishing up, as you see. Hone Blades 27 seconds away. These Men-at-Arms are about to be so scary. Spears able to take down some of these Royal Knights. Men-at-Arms and Lancers just take absolutely 0 damage from these archers. The Men-at-Arms are going to be the real problem for Cat if his knights aren't able to stay alive, and it doesn't really look like his knights are staying alive, as Don Artie's Lancers have cleared out the whole entire everything, and has another Lancer split off, denying some of this eco. Front line of Cat completely wiped out. Archers trying to find somewhere to go. 13 villagers inside that town center, and look at these Scholars. They can just heal up anything and everything. Next Royal Knight pops out, next Archer pops out. Immediately both get focused on down again. Everything Cat makes just gets killed, and the big problem for him is he's just going to stay and age behind them. Don just absolutely pedal to the metal. Cat is not able to breathe, not able to do anything at all, trying to get more and more farms behind this to get more food to be able to produce and hopefully age up, but his TC is going to be down by that time. And not only is TC, there's the School of Cavalry. Don has everything he needs to end this game right in this camera screen here. Just a few tiles away from this TC is going to be the School of Cavalry. The next focus, the last landmark, and Don, he wants to go ahead and end this game. Cat has been a thorn in his side the past 2 games, and this third one, he just shows this was my game. I got my deli. I just am a little bit too OP with the deli on this, and taking down the main town center and about to focus in on the last landmark. Maybe. First, all of the villagers inside that town center. Oh, nope. He just transitions over to the landmark. Lets the villagers live to see another day. Don Artie being a little bit graceful. Instead of immediately wiping down all of those villagers, he wants to go ahead, let them see another day, and just go ahead and end this now. Torches are too much. Cat starting to get his food eco going finally. Villagers pulled to try to heal this up, but it's too late. He realizes it's too late. It's over. It is game.